Peace and blessings, everybody. This is Bull. Before I begin, I like to read something from one of my parables. It's actually not written for me though, but we'll get to that later though. A blind prosperity that has nothing to do with the heart produce a merely animal act. So let's just visualize for a minute and ask ourselves, do we see that in our surroundings? People we deal with, our community, and other sources like that. Is it a personal thing? Is it a subconscious thing? Is it our food that we eat? Is it the way that we digest things? Is it in our water? Is it in our milks? Because I channel a lot of things in life, and to me it seemed that a lot of people don't understand the dynamics of understanding the culture inside of a culture inside of a culture. You have to understand there's different rings in this life, just like it's different totem poles where economic systems, taxes, social clubs, welfare, Medicaid. A lot of issues are addressed on a lot of different levels. So we even talk about jurisdiction, was going to be some of my favorite topics that we speak up on. In a lot of those situations, we got to think about the things that we look, where it takes a totem pole to actually build the conscious perspective of things and lessen it at a subconscious perspective was less important. So that's why I was just speaking upon that and just wanted to read that off, because I kind of wanted that to be the aim of this topic today. A blind prosperity that has nothing to do with the heart produce a merely animal act. So just think of that as one of the things that we see in one's life or in our own lives that's most important to understand disobedience in. When I look at my community, I know all communities are the same. I can't speak about the mentalities of Chicago. I can't speak about the mentalities of the people in the Bay Area or anywhere else though, or it's just simple as I can understand or disagree or maybe agree with certain things though. But that's just like even in Indianapolis, I don't understand a lot of those people mentalities, but when it comes to Fort Wayne, Indiana, I know the merely animal acts that people hold consciously within themselves and subconsciously, which is a 90% of the thing, because once they get some type of gravitation of consciously awareness, if it comes from punishment or whatever the case may be, the animal act as is willing to do whatever just to get out of his cage. No matter if it's from discipline itself or somebody else disciplining. All these things take place in the fashion of levels. Things just don't happen just out of instant unless it's meant to be. But most times it's levels to a lot of different things. And how all this coexists with one another, what I'm saying, far as like a merely animal act, a blind prosperity, and there's different levels to this, because we got to think about the concentrations of our subconscious awareness to being conscious about a lot of different things in life. I believe that our economic system is built on a lot of bureaucrats that's actually pushing in the eugenics program inside Fort Wayne, and people don't seem to understand that. They don't understand to see how case laws is changing, sentences is changing, why they letting people get away with crime just so it could be stricter, more funding and stuff like that, because here they cutting unions, they getting rid of unions. So if you go get rid of all the unions and things like that, you minimizing the protection of people that's really trying to protect and govern to save things in a certain fashion. That's actually taking those things away from them. So basically, you got to think about the levels of the things that's about to take place. The things when it boil down to it, and it has to secrete. You just don't take the concentrate, you feel me? You secrete the concentrate. You see what I'm saying? And you purify it, or you get rid of the things that's not agreeable to the things and the terms and conditions that you're willing to pull upon for your arbitrations. So you got to look at things in that perspective. So we could talk about different county office, we could talk about state, we could talk about federal, we could talk about a lot of different things. What they just the layers of it. They just certain funding, they just certain mentalities to produce certain things, but they just the rings, they just the levels of this stuff. But where I'm coming at is the community, what's most important. The community is the primarily branch that holds its position in every stipulation, everything to the goal, the laws, how to govern people, the mentalities of people, the wills, the likes, the dislikes, the comfortabilities, and all that. So we got to think about the people that's actually represent in the community to break down the small little portions. And we have to decide within ourselves, is the struggle going to continue to be a vicious cycle if we don't not manipulate, but we don't put these people in a position where they have to do their job, or they get out the office and we do their job, or just don't hold a position for that job. I mean, because if you think about how many people dying in Chicago, it's sending that impact for Wayne as people been dying. I mean, it's the same mentalities of people. People navigate, because you go say the certain city. No, it ain't the city. It's the navigation. And people will always be nomadic in the simple fact, do some dirt here, go there, and live comfortable. If I got to do some dirt there, I will do it there also. They're just the mentalities of people that's living in the struggle, or people that have to find accountability in themselves no matter what their struggle is or what they running from. So you gotta look at things in that simple fact. So it's gonna be crime no matter what. As long as the struggle, is gonna be crime, period. As long as the struggle, is gonna be crime. As long as people have to suffer, as long as people don't have the intelligence, as long as people cannot produce